14th, 2020, just about 2 weeks ago, Cenk had said that Jimmy Dore and his force-the-vote strategy is constructive action. He said that there's no strategy with the Democrats in Washington, D.C. He said that he's in favor of putting the pressure on. He's in favor of putting the pressure on the politicians. So what is Cenk Ugar's holdup? Well, the biggest holdup is that he believes a lie. He believes that Kevin McCarthy was going to become the speaker. That's not how it works. The Democrats, if it's not Nancy Pelosi, they vote amongst themselves. It's going to be somebody else. Hakeem Jeffries, probably. So Performative, H.R. 1384 is the legislation that's being put forth, and Hakeem Jeffries would be, you could replace Pelosi with Hakeem Jeffries. Really, anybody. There's 200 people there. So to think that it's Kevin McCarthy is wrong and bullshit has been debunked 100 times. But December 14th, Cenk thought that was the truth, and that's going to be the main reason why he's going to be against it.
Time, and specifically on the issue of healthcare. And the executive authority suggestion he has are great. But wait a minute, let's be clear, though. Let me criticize Sirota, too. And again, I have nothing but respect for him, and he was a contributor here, and we have him on all the time. But number one, it's not performative to draw a line in the sand. It draws media attention, and media attention helps in framing and branding.
So, wow, it's not performative art to draw the line in the sand like the $2,000 checks. It's not performative arts. So he's saying that, force to vote is not performative art. So, wow, this is basically he's giving almost a full-throated endorsement of this damn thing, but he's going to say no ultimately at the end.
Part of the reason why AOC is so successful is she's great at drawing media attention. That's not a bad thing. What has it done? It put Green New Deal on the map. It put a lot of policies that the mainstream media was not reporting on or considering on the map. So I think dismissing it as performative is not correct. And second of all...
Hold that thought, because I want to respond to what you just said.
Oh, of course.
So, okay, that's fair enough. But one other thing to take into consideration, and this is probably what I'm most concerned about.
Well, I'm sure.
Let's say, best case scenario, the strategy works, and then they...
We all get Medicare for all.
The prediction, and I think it's an accurate prediction, is that there aren't enough votes to pass Medicare for all.
No, that was... Wait.
What does that mean? Look, we know how Nancy Pelosi fights progressives, right? She's a dove when it comes to Republicans, but when it comes to progressives, she fights hard. When it comes to fighting on behalf of her donors, she... So then why is Anna Kasparian fighting to protect Nancy Pelosi's seat so goddamn much? She knows that Nancy goes after progressives and kisses the Republicans' asses. That's not the kind of speaker I want, the Speaker of the House. I want somebody who likes the progressives and hates the Republicans. Nancy Pelosi is a backwards Democrat. She fights hard. And so I'm worried that if that vote fails, well, then she can use that as an excuse for not ever, holding another vote or ever wanting to pass Medicare for all in the future. Like, oh, look at that. They failed. No one wants it. Let's move on.
That's what they did to the Green New Deal, so now everybody's traumatized. Just redo the Green New Deal to where it's actually, but then also look at the $2,000 check. So we voted for $2,000 checks. Does that mean we're never going to visit this again? We're never going to, never again are we going to think about, should we get $2,000 checks? Shut up. No, we've already thought about that issue once. You got your damn check, now shut your damn mouth. Is that how movements work?
Are you in any way concerned about that?
Yeah, so let me be clear, because this gets to the end game, right? So number one, let's split it into two things. Let's talk about the immediate, then I want to answer your question because they're related. So Sirota says, I don't want to do it if it means Kevin McCarthy is Speaker of the House. I agree with him. The problem is, if we agree with that, well, since there is no one running from the left, that's your only choice. And so let's be realistic. You also can't make the Richie Neal ask. You can't make the executive authority ask. You can't make any of these asks unless you're willing to say, I'm going to vote against you, even if it means Kevin McCarthy.
So Cenk has taken up the lie, which he said he got from David Sirota, and that's what Jimmy Dore and David Sirota are going to argue about. They're going to argue about this. They're going to sit there and say that, he goes, well, is it a good thing if Kevin McCarthy gets in there? Is that a good thing or not? And Jimmy Dore says that question's irrelevant, but, no, it probably wouldn't matter. It wouldn't make much of a difference. But he was saying you're framing it in the wrong thing because Kevin McCarthy will never become the speaker. So why even ask the question? Why even say that? That was what the whole argument was about whether or not Kevin McCarthy is going to be the new speaker. And Jimmy Dore is right. There's no possibility. There's no possibility that Kevin McCarthy will become the speaker. It's amongst the Democrats.
The speaker. So let's just make up our mind on how we want to do this strategy. So, look, so him proposing better asks is good and helpful and constructive, but saying that you can get to those asks in a non-performative way is not true. At the end of the day, you must vote no on something, right? So now in this case, this is all, unfortunately, I wish it was more impactful, but likely to be much ado about nothing because right now it's in Congress there's 1 Libertarian, 5 seats undecided, 196 Republicans, and 233 Democrats. Even if all 10 Justice Democrats vote no, there could barely muster up another handful of progressives to vote with them. It's not enough to swing that vote. If you think, oh, the Progressive Caucus is huge, no, the Progressive Caucus